Okay, it's going to be another one of those walkie-talkie films. Here's George, who likes to go for walks, and there's me, also on a walk. As you can see, I'm already in my winter garb, it being, well, the verge of winter, I suppose. It's 9, 10, 11 today, the 9th of October 2011. Not that many more of those consequential dates. We've got the 10th of November 2012 coming up, and then of course the 11th of December 2013. So there's another 2 after today, and then we'll have to wait for another, well, how long? 87 years, won't we? But even then you won't be able to get it until 1, 2, 3, so it's more than that, it's 90 years. So there we go. Between the 2 occasions that you can have it. So better make the most of it, so we decided to go out for a walk. And not that it has any particular meaning, of course, but may as well make the most of the good weather. It's about 12 degrees, which I thought, well, over the course of a 5-kilometre walk, or maybe 6, I'll find out later from my speedometer how long exactly it is. You know, that will pretty much say what, you know, how long it will be. And over the course of a long walk like that, you know, I could have, just in my jacket, I could have got a bit, what's the word, chilly, I suppose, and I don't really want to risk getting a chill when I've got training going on at the moment for our new audit system. There are horrible stuffed animals in there. Animals aren't horrible, but killing them and stuffing them is fairly horrible.
It's different.
So basically, well, let's see, we try and get across here. It's still green. This is Żurawia, not Stork Street, Crane Street. Żuraw is crane, in all the senses of the word, actually. You've got the building crane as a żuraw, the bird crane is a żuraw, and cranberries, which are the berries that cranes eat, is żurawina in Polish. That's often the way in European languages, that there's a link between the word for cranberry and the word for crane, and also the word for the building crane. So, but not always. But look for it, you might find it if you're learning a European language. Anyhow, what do we have at the moment? We've got, and this is one of the things I wanted to do with today's film, perhaps the main thing I wanted to do with today's film, other than show you Warsaw again from maybe a slightly different perspective, although most of it I've shown many times. It's about, well, today actually is the day of the election. So we've got Cisza Wyborcza. Here we've got Mr. Pontius Pilates here, Paweł Poncyliusz, Pontius Pilate. Poland is the most important country. That's his election slogan. That's also his party, PJN. Polska jest najważniejsza. Poland is the most important place in the world. So she's also from it. This is adrianayara.pl. His name is Poncylius.pl. They would have had .com, but that would have kind of undermined their message that Poland is the most important, and so they have .pl instead after their names. Anyway, they're candidates, because we've got the election, we've got the elections to Parliament, which I can't participate in. I can, not that I would if I could. I don't agree with this kind of democracy anymore. I don't even think that voting is all it does is validate a system that doesn't change anything, and we're just being manipulated. So, but what's quite interesting, it's interesting to observe politics from the side without being particularly, you know, biased towards one or the other, and just have a look at the way these people carry on, you know. There's another green light, so we better use it. Anyway, because today is now the day of voting, like I say, I don't get to vote. I'm only good enough to pay the tax. I don't actually get to have a say in what they do with it. I'm just there to pay it. So I can vote in, as a European living in Poland and registered here, I can vote in local elections. Oh dear. Wonder what party she's from. And I can vote in the European Parliament elections, but I can't vote for the President and the Parliament, the same in Senate. I can't vote in that, so there's no point in even trying. This is Inco Veritas. You've all heard of the expression in vino veritas. Well, this is in vinco veritas, so they just call it Inco Veritas. Some nice sort of colonnade of things that don't seem to be doing much. It doesn't seem to have much of, you know, actual practical use, that structure, other than to recall a classical period that never actually took place in this country. But it's there anyway. Some interesting old antique crystals and porcelains going on in there. Yeah, there are a few shops up here selling bric-a-brac antiques, various bits of nonsense, which are quite reasonable shops. Actually interesting to come and have a look at. This is articles for plastics, which means a plastic is actually an artist, so it's artists' materials. If you look at the cards in this, the cars on the city, all you see is cards on each one of them. Each one is festooned with a variety of small cards. These are the election manifestos, of course, of various people that want you to go vote for them. This is somebody from the Alexis party, of course. I don't know what party that would be. And what their agenda is. Quite a lot of them are littering the streets, especially around about election times. Seems a bit much when they actually put their political notices on your vehicle. It's a little bit of an invasion of privacy, really. There's a Novotel up there. Used to be the Hotel Forum. If you've seen a film, A Very Polish Practice, it takes place mainly in that hotel, and that's also where the actor stayed. And I met a couple of those folk it's in about 91. They were there. Doing it, 1991. I don't know if it's possible to get hold of it these days, that film, but it was quite amusing. It had nuns everywhere. It was a look at Poland, and you had Peter Davison was, and I think possibly Joanna Kańska. That basically it was a very peculiar practice, was the UK one, which was a serial. Get it if you can, it's a amusing comedy. And a very Polish practice was when they all went off to Poland to help in the changes, and they took the mickey out of some of the things that were going on in this country quite well. Some of them were already pretty much out of date by the time they were lampooning them, of course, because that's the speed of change that we have had. But nevertheless, it gives you a taste of what was going on in the early 1990s around here. Very different to today, although some things, I mean, if we zoomed up on that building there, I don't suppose that particular shot would look all that much different then. Other shots would. Kiosks didn't look like this, for instance. Plush and modern. They were very basic, let's say. And there were more of them as well. What's up, George? You alright there? I better attend to you, hadn't I? If you look on Polish television, you'll see all the different parties all saying go to the vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Well, I'll say that yes, vote for us. But even if you don't vote for us, they say go to the elections. What you never see is this opinion. There you have the anarcho-syndicalists' flag, the black and red, and this is boycott the elections. Wybory ZSP.net.pl, and they seem to have got some concert going on at the same time. Not sure whether it's the same thing or whether they just put it over that other concert, but the idea that we should boycott the elections, which is one that I'm quite fond of myself, I probably don't have a lot in common with you know, your hardcore anarcho-syndicalists. Probably they're rather sort of different people with different motivations to me, but I think some of them are quite astute and have realised, they don't know perhaps what the real answer is, but they've realised certainly that it certainly doesn't lie in politics, not in the, you know, party political situation and government the way that it is now. I mean, that's probably the way in which people developed over historically, you know, over the from the Middle Ages and what have you to what we might call a modern era. But we can press to something much better now, I think. There's that Czech mole thing, is there? Some very nice cups, look at that. That looks very pretty, doesn't it? Thing is, if you buy all the cups and things that you like the look of, oh, here we go, these are some more of these people, and they just don't think it's a problem that they should put their, you know, their awful faces up. It's a great big ego trip for them. Here's PO, the reigning party, Citizens Platform. Sounds like the train's about to go for them. Gołota is a name known from sport. Łukasz, so there we go. Luke Golotar. Luke Nakedness, as if you like. Lukey birthday suit there, with his face up. List number 21. That's a much better, more worthy thing for the Warsaw Film Festival, which is going on at the moment. Thank you for talking through my film, matey boy. Right, and here we go. I chose education, says Catherine Zeta-Jones here, in the form of Alicja Węgorzewska-Whiskered. Now, usually you get defacement of placards, very, very few so far. I think it's because they only put them up a short time before the election. But usually I'd expect a woman who's called her surname Whiskered to actually have little cat's whiskers put on. But nobody's done it. Maybe she's too Catherine Zeta-Jonesy in her appearance and people don't want to ruin it. So it's a remarkably untampered with election poster. And talking of nuns, there's one actually walking down the street over there, so it's not like we're completely devoid of nuns going around the place, although certainly less than maybe 20 years ago. But anyway, here's Mr. Six. This is Mr. Górski, Artur Górski. He represents the party Prawo I Sprawiedliwość, which is Mr. Kaczynski's party, the party of Jarosław Kaczynski, and of course his brother Lech Kaczynski, that got killed with most of the people who were running that party, therefore spoiling a lot of their election attempts. And they didn't win the presidency, although they came second place, if you like. They're still second place in the running in popularity polls after the Citizens Platform. Prawo I Sprawiedliwość, P&S, or PIS, which people do take the piss off quite a bit. They basically, well, it's a right-wing party. It's Catholic conservatism, you might say. This is a red light, but there's nobody coming, so I think I'll break the law. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, it means law and justice. So they want law and order, and they want justice. Well, it sounds like they want to have their cake and eat it too. But then so do most politicians. There's a cycle path there. There are quite a few cycle paths in Warsaw, not to be confused with psychopaths, which is when you put your car front on the cycle path so as to knock the cyclists over if they use the space which has been allotted to them. So cycle path, psychopath, that's the difference. Not enough though, you still do with quite a few more. There's a seagull up there, which, being as we are 300 kilometres from the sea, probably means that the conditions over the sea are not too good, or that the birds expect for some reasons that the conditions over the sea are about to get rather worse. So usually foul weather brings the seagulls a bit further inland. It's one way that you can tell that weather might be about to deteriorate. I mean, if you notice in summer that it's a fine day, but that there's no insects out, there's no bees or anything like that, they all stay in their hives. Well, that's what they did when Chernobyl happened. In Poland, the bees, even though the fallout didn't register yet on anything, the bees nevertheless seemed to know that they were supposed to stay in their hives, and they wouldn't come out for weeks. So if you should see that happen, then you want to start stocking up on iodine, because it may well be that something's happened and they just simply haven't come clean about it yet. But the bees will give the game away. Possibly. Well, that's a flower shop. I think it's made up of 2 vases, but still seems to be worth it for them to sit there. And here we have Constitution Square. There's a fine place to be on election day, isn't it? Constitution Square. Not that many people out and about. It's a Sunday anyway. As you can probably tell, that the 9th, 10th, 11th is Sunday. If you look in a calendar, you can tell, you can check it up and see that I'm not lying. Oh, I may as well go across here, mightn't I? That one's, the sun's out in full force up there, which is not warm, but it's just going to cause a lot of glare on my film. So we'll forget about that. I'll turn this back on again when there's another election poster worth commenting on, or any other poster for that matter. Posters change, so even if you take a film of a city quite a lot, then at least you can look at the posters, because they won't be the same the next time you do it. So there you go, there's Jan Pavel II, the man of prayer. So there you go. No doubt he was a man of prayer, probably rather too much to Mary than to the real person he should have prayed to, but there you go. That was probably prayer as he understood it. But like I say, I shall wait until there's something a bit more interesting to show from the perspective of the election, which is what's going on now. But it may interest some of you to know that here, just at the back of the Constitution Square, is the very building. It says, in this building, v tym gmachu, 1913 to 1938, was the radiological workshop of the Warsaw Scientific Society, whose honorary director was Maria Skłodowska-Curie, or Mary Curie as you may know her, but the Poles will never say Mary Curie without adding Skłodowska in. Whether she called herself that or not is debatable. Anyway, to Mary Skłodowska and Piotr Curie, they've got that tablica, if you like, put into the wall in 1997 to mark 100, not 100 years, but no, the 100th year of the discovery of polonium and radium. Polonium, of course, named after Poland, it being a rather powerful and deadly agent used by Russians to poison people in London. So here we go. This is 12 degrees, like I promised, and that building is also used by the Institute of Mathematics, as well as a family office here. There you go, a family office of Lorek, Pawlak and Spornicy. It's a family office. If you want to go and do some family planning there, you want to know how to do contraception and that, just go in and ask them, they'll tell you all about it. And yeah, 12 degrees. Well, they're saying something else now, so please don't go up on the pavement while I'm walking by. That wouldn't be on. Right, so here we go, Passementeria. And the metal shutters up so that nobody can get anywhere near that Passementeria stuff when It's not. Oh, pink glasses. They say this is rose-tinted spectacles shop. Some people talk about viewing the world through rose-tinted spectacles. If you wish to do that, then there's the shop to go to get them. And here, this is a rope shop. If you want to give yourself enough rope to hang yourself with, then that's the place to come for that. Here's Eurodental. That's where you can come and have your teeth made in a European fashion. If you're not sure that your teeth are European enough, then come here and get your teeth Europeanised in that place. There's lots of things you can do on the street by the looks of things. I didn't even realise how much you could actually do of fun stuff on the street. This is where, if you want to be turned with your wife into a Siamese twin, and you go to that clinic there. It's called G-A-A Bl O-E Nr D-I-A G-A-A Bl O-E Nr D-I-A. So not sure what it means. Perhaps it's a reference to hieroglyphics or something like that that have been encoded in that system. And there's a shop specialising in various rehabilitation things. So this is interesting actually, because rehab, you know, Amy, what's her name? Not Amy Walker, that's a YouTuber. Certainly much better than Amy Whitehouse. Yeah. This is rehabilitation. You want to go to rehab? I said no, no, no. That's what rehab means in Poland. Yeah, it means putting a funny collar around your neck. That's to stop yourself from being able to drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or take drugs. In other words, rehab or rehabilitation in Poland is just what we'd call physiotherapy. It's a slightly different use of the word. One of the funniest words that Poles use differently, and it's not just Poles, it's also Germans and what have you. What we would call tonsillitis, a disease of childhood, one that I suffered from many times. I wanted to take my tonsils out, but my mother said, no, 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 don't take his tonsils out, they're part of his immune system. And she was right, because I got over it eventually, stopped having recurrent bouts of tonsillitis, and now I think I'm one of the healthier people that I know as far as resistance is concerned. I may not be very healthy from the point of view of not being very slim, but on other areas I can't complain. And we call it tonsillitis anyway, that disease, yeah. And the Poles will call it angina or angina, and so do the Germans. And so you hear these people saying that they've got angina. You think, bloody hell, that's serious. Yeah, but they don't mean angina pectoralis like we do from the word angina. They simply mean they've got tonsillitis. So if you're Polish and you work for, or German, and you work for an English company or an American company, you don't want to look like a complete skiver, then when you get tonsillitis, you just say, I've got tonsillitis, yeah? Otherwise they'll wonder what the hell you'll think you're doing, telling them that you've got a serious disease. I mean, if you speak English, you know, you have to understand that the words in English are sort of like different to the words in Polish. You don't just sort of like take the same words that you'd use in Polish and then say them with an English accent if you can manage one. There's more to learning languages than just simply that. So that's part of the university, or polytechnic rather, Polytechnica there, with the folk on top. You can zoom up a bit to it to show you. That's quite nice, isn't it? The guy doing a Heil Hitler up there. That's nice. And here we've got one of these places where the tram line goes up the road. I think I'll follow the tram line for a bit, because it's a way of getting back home which avoids being next to more busy roads where it's going to be louder, too loud. And I'll turn it off and switch it back on again if I see anything worth commenting on. There's been very few election posters, which is what I was mainly hoping to show today. Maybe it's just because everybody's got so heartily fed up of the band of thieves who call themselves politicians in this not only country but whole Western system, and Eastern for that matter. We've just had enough of them, haven't we, boys and girls? We've had enough, and we don't want, you know, oh, there's a nice defacement. This is about to turn off and I see a defacement. Somebody called Dolce decorum est por patria mori, and he's had his face ripped off. Well, he probably deserved it. Okay, we'll see how we go.